Hello, this is Sasha. Hope you're having a good day. I taught two classes this morning at Naropa. They're 3 years long classes, which is pretty remarkable. Very excited to be teaching those. If I don't know if teaching is the right word, really. Those are small process groups where small groups of counselors are processing their emotions in real time. And then had a great coaching session with a client who was a little overwhelmed with not making progress. And I've been thinking a lot about doing this episode. Not sure if I want to say it or not. And I think maybe it's okay. And maybe this post might upset you. So, a quick disclaimer: if you're easily offended, please do not watch or listen to this episode. Or you can watch and listen and let yourself experience any emotions that you might experience. And we might all survive that. So, the topic for today is why, in my opinion, coaches and therapists really struggling to fill their practices. Why aren't all the therapists and coaches out there in private practice full? Right? It should be a pretty easy process after a while, or it kind of makes sense if people get the education and they're able to help people. Why some therapists and coaches are full and have waiting lists, and some are struggling even after years of opening their private practice. So again, this is my honest opinion. Take it or leave it, but it might be helpful because I definitely don't see this opinion being shared a lot. And for the sake of being open-minded, sometimes it's helpful for me from learning from opinions that I do not agree with as well. So it all started with me seeing a question on one of the Facebook groups that I'm a part of. What I try to do, I try to go to Facebook groups for counselors and coaches and answer a few questions to see if there's any insight that I can provide. Kind of on a daily, I just put a few minutes into it. One of the questions that I saw was, it was something like that. So that's what the person said. I saw another post about a therapist with a waiting list. And I was sadly thinking to myself, why am I not one of those therapists? And first of all, I totally feel it. Been there, definitely felt the same thing. And so I can totally relate. The thing is that what I answered wasn't the full answer that I wanted to answer. I guess because I didn't want to hurt the person's feelings. I didn't really know them fully. I didn't want to get into a long discussion on social media, and I didn't want it to sound like a character judgment statement. So I decided to take this opportunity to take this conversation outside of the realm of just one person, right? And look at what's happening many times for counselors and coaches. And I've spoken to hundreds, right? Been doing my own research with people's struggles in filling their private practice. So I'm aware of this yin and yang parts of me, the being and the doing. One part wants to just talk about the emotions and how difficult it is, and like to empathize. And there's the other part, which is the doing, which is okay, I hear you, and let's do something about it if it causes you, if you're not happy. So let's start with the first one. It sucks. It sucks that you put in so much time and effort into your helping skills education, whether it's a master's degree or any other trainings that you took for to become a better counselor, or a coach training. And then you go out into the world, you open your private practice, and crickets. No one comes, or it's like trickle. Maybe you have one new client once in a month, right? And then you're thinking, why did I go into this in the first place, right? If I'm not helping people. So let's just get that out of the way. It's tough, right? And that's pretty clear and to be expected. Um, it's tough to build a business, and if it would be easy, everyone else would be doing it. Now, it's a different kind of difficult, not the difficult that people who have not ever built a business think of. It's difficult in a way that we'll get to in a moment. So, what did I answer? I just simply gave a link to a training that I recorded where I break down kind of all the different parameters, everything you need to install in your private practice. There are 9 areas in order to actually have a foundation for everything you need in your private practice. If you go to the link in the description below, the sixfigurepractice.com, it's called the 3 pillars of a thriving private practice. It's a free training. You can take it. Now, so you can see that I went straight into information, right, in my answer to this person, which is important, right? You don't know what you don't know. You probably haven't been taught at least a lot about, enough about running your business and marketing and building your private practice when you were training, right? There was probably 99.9% how to help, and some part of it wasn't like even actually helping. It was some theories, which is great, but then you're kind of left to your own devices, right? So it is needed to gain that information in terms of how to build your private practice, even though parts of it would, even with the information, would still be some trial and error and experimentation. And this is super important. Everyone I interviewed for my podcast, the Six Figure Practice, you can find it on Spotify or on Apple, wherever you listen to your podcast. Everyone had at least a mentor or a coaching program or a private practice accelerator, just like the Six Figure Practice program, to help them grow faster. Right, so I noticed that that's been a parallel between everyone I interviewed who grew fast, right, within a year, filled their practice, or 2 years maximum, and is very happy with the way it is, and it's stable, right? It's not enough to fill your practice. You want it to be consistent because you have systems in place to predictably constantly create new clients. So information is super important, and guidance is extremely important, and having a relationship with someone that can help you is extremely helpful as well. So let's get to the part that I didn't feel comfortable saying in my answer. And what I wanted to say is that the equation to success in your private practice is pretty simple. The amount of clients that you will have in your private practice is a function of the amount of hours you put into building your private practice. Just going to repeat it again. The amount of clients that you will have or have currently in your private practice is a function of the amount of hours you put into building your private practice. So what I'm talking about right now is personal responsibility and ownership. If I don't have enough clients in my private practice, there's a big chance that I didn't put enough effort into it. Now, it's pretty much clear that it takes time and it's a journey. So it's very difficult to expect to fill your practice in 2 or 3 months, even though we have members in our private practice accelerator that did that. But those are the exceptions to the rule. You can totally get to full practice and I mean 20 clients in a year's time if you're starting from scratch. That's beyond doable if you have some guidance, but you definitely need to put in the work. And of course, you need to apply the right strategies at the right moment in your private practice because those differ as you grow. So the speed of your growth would definitely be based on your investment in your private practice. Now, when I say investment, I don't just mean time. You can invest in your private practice in 3 ways. One, you can invest time, basically the time that you're putting into building your website, writing a good copy that actually works, learning about what needs to be done, maybe learning Google Ads, maybe writing a few blog posts and whatnot. The infinite amount of strategies that you could be doing, they all take time and effort though, and consistency. Second way you can invest in your private practice is money, right? A lot of it, or pretty much everything, can be outsourced. So you can have other people do that, either on their own or do it with you. And of course, investing in your business education that if you're missing that. Or the third way of investing in your private practice is a combination of time and money. For example, right now I'm enrolled in 2 different coaching programs for my other projects, and they don't do the work for me, but I'm investing my money and time with them, and then I do part of the work and I pay other people to do part of the work as well. So that's a combination of. So the truth is, you have to pay your dues. If you want to have full private practice, you have to pay your dues, and it doesn't mean only learning how to help people. And it doesn't mean even the hundreds of hours that you put into your internship and practicum. On top of it, you actually need to create a structure where you have potential clients finding you and then you taking them through all the steps. A lot of it by even not being there, right? Just creating automated systems that bring potential clients to you, so you could actually be helping people, right? Because if you miss that part, it's just not gonna happen. There are very few therapists from everyone I interviewed that say that they build their practice just on Psychology Today. Usually that's not the case. It's not enough to write 3 paragraphs and expect your practice to be full. So that's the inconvenient truth. I cannot feel entitled to have a full private practice just because I studied the profession. I have to do the work to actually create those clients, and I have to do it consistently. So the question is, what if I don't have time? What if I'm working full time? What if I'm a parent? And all the other circumstances that do not allow you to invest all the time that you have in building your private practice. Well, the good news is that it's not a quantity game, it's a consistency game. So it's not about finding that 4 hours chunk in the weekend to finish your website or to add 3 services pages to your website because you know they're missing and they should be there, but they're just not. Um, it's about finding the minimum amount of time that you can invest into it on a daily basis. So, for example, if I have half an hour daily to invest in building my private practice, it accumulates and it creates momentum and a snowball effect. And in my mind, it's way more efficient to put half an hour every day into doing what you know you need to be doing for creating your clients. And if you don't know what you should be doing, go to the sixfigurepractice.com. I created infinite amount of free resources and put in that work, right? And if it's only 15 minutes, way better than trying to find a big chunk on the weekend, because on the weekend you want to rest. And that big chunk can definitely be a bonus if you can do that as well. So, more good news is that you pay your dues first. You definitely work way more on building your private practice at the beginning than actually helping your clients. But with time, it drops, and at some point, it will actually flip. After a while, you see that you're kind of doing half-half. Half of the time you're putting into working on your private practice, and half of the time you're seeing clients. And if you create automated systems to clients continuously finding you on their own without you putting in the manual labor forever, you will find yourself mostly only working with clients, right? So you put in the work first, and then you reap the benefits later. And it's so worth it, right? Because you could be helping so many people on your own terms. And I think the word, at least for me, the word freedom comes to mind. Clinical freedom, time freedom, money freedom. I can choose my schedule, when and how much I see my clients. Clinical freedom, I decide how to work with clients, etc., etc., etc. And I think the entrepreneur spirit, for people who go into starting their own business as therapists or coaches, one of the big motivating force, I'm curious if it's the same way for you, is having that freedom, creating something of your own that you can control and decide for yourself. And when you put all this effort into growing a business, why not, at least for me, grow my own business versus growing someone else's business? So I hope it's been helpful. Feel free to comment or message me. I definitely want to hear what you're thinking, and have a wonderful day.